So my dad is reading this great book called The Internet Is Not the Answer by Andrew Keen. Very straight to the point title. My dad quotes this book all the time. Basically, the message of this book is that for all the good the internet has created, it has been outweighed by all the bad. So one night, Dad hands me this open book and to a specific page and says, read this. And as a musician myself, this blew my mind. It was a page and a half about how much, or really how little, money musicians are making from the internet. I discovered that for each member of a 4-person band to earn the US minimum wage of $15,080, their music would have to be streamed on Spotify 250 billion times. I also discovered that Ellen Shipley, Grammy-nominated songwriter, had a hit song of hers play on Pandora 3,112,300 times and only made $39.61. Thanks to the internet, music has gone completely mobile, whether it's with iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or any other music website or app. We've begun to take music out of its physical form and make it completely digital. By doing this, we've changed the economics of music, but are we changing something even bigger? Let's go back to Napster. What started out in 1999 as 2 young guys named Sean and John wanting to share some music files became one of the biggest and most controversial turning points in music history. Napster was not iTunes. It was a file sharing system. Users uploaded MP3 files from CDs onto this database, and then anyone else on Napster could download that file for free. For free! This was the first time that the music industry realized that new technology could be an enemy. People didn't have to buy music anymore. They could just download specific songs they wanted off of Napster. Now in the year 2015, this doesn't sound so crazy, but in 1999, it was a pretty mind-blowing concept. No one in the music industry was prepared for such a revolution. Well, for recording artists, this so-called ripping wasn't a revolution. Ripping was a rip-off. The loudest noise against Napster came from Metallica. The band discovered that their music was circulating on Napster without their knowledge or approval. They felt this was a clear violation of copyright laws, and there's the key word, copyright. Music, software, books, everything called content legally becomes what is called intellectual property, or IP for short. IP is the result of long hours of work creating, producing, marketing, and distributing. By copyrighting their music, Metallica is basically saying to the world, hey, we created this music. You can't make copies of it and distribute it without our permission. They believe Napster crossed the line, so the band sued. But after all their efforts, Napster still ran free. In the year 2000, the music industry kicked it up a notch. These 18 major record labels came together to collectively sue Napster. After multiple legal battles and appeals, Napster was finally forced to shut down its service in 2001. Okay, this website completely rattled the music industry. The system of selling albums solely in its physical form was a system that had worked for decades. Technology was changing rapidly, and the industry struggled to keep up. Even with Napster shut down, people were still ripping MP3s off of the internet. Record labels needed to form digital distribution that would get the artist's music out into the world while still following copyright law. Well, one solution was announced in 2001, and that was iTunes. This was the very first digital music store that effectively battled piracy. Plus, with the invention of the iPod, iTunes generated a completely new era of portable music consumption. However, with its standard price of 99 cents per song, artists weren't making as much money as they did with CDs. Consumers weren't forced to buy an entire CD just to get their one favorite song, which was great for the consumer, but not so great for the music industry. Transitioning into a digital realm was very controversial for musicians. On one hand, with the cheap price of 99 cents per song, artist revenue was destined to decline. Even though artists were given a larger percentage of an iTunes sale than a CD sale, a drop in price really didn't mean a drop in profit. But on the other hand, it truly made music global. Not only were these artists reaching more people than ever before, but digital music stores made it easier for independent artists to become successful. Artists didn't have to compete for shelf space anymore. If they produced good music, it was now easier to be recognized. The invention of iTunes had its major ups and downs, but ultimately Apple showed the world that there is a way to make money from digital music. So did the iTunes revolution achieve its potential of standardizing how music is easily paid for and distributed? Pretty much. But now streaming has also entered the picture and is beginning to push the industry towards change even further. Let's see how this new form of consumption has affected music. Streaming is becoming huge. According to the IFPI, 28 million people had a paying subscription to a music streaming service in the year 2013. That's a jump from only 8 million in the year 2010. There are so many of these websites and apps out in the world, and no two are the same. But to make things a lot simpler, I'm going to focus on the big one, Spotify. Spotify is the largest streaming service with 75 million current subscribers, 15 million of which are paying. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm going to hate on Spotify, but that doesn't mean that I hate Spotify. It's a really cool service. I'm pretty sure they have a playlist for everything. Plus, it has the iTunes-like feature of being able to save songs to a personal library. I've discovered a lot of really good music on Spotify that I otherwise would have never listened to. However, by streaming this music for free, or even with a monthly subscription, we're altering the process of how we pay the artist that we're listening to. Let's compare how an artist would be paid from iTunes and from Spotify. When I buy a hit song on iTunes for $1.29, let's say Happy, one of the biggest songs of 2014, this is how the purchase would be divided. All things considered, when I purchase Happy for $1.29, between the royalty and the sales portion of the contract, Pharrell would make at most about 30 cents. This is significantly lower than the amount made from a CD, considering it's only one song, but the process of dividing the purchase remains. Now let's compare that with Spotify. Okay, now it's really hard to know exactly how much is made from a single stream. Essentially what Spotify does is takes 70% of their ad revenue and subscriptions and gives all that money to the artists on Spotify. This sum of money is then allocated between each artist according to their popularity. Since Pharrell is one of the top 5 most streamed artists on Spotify, his share of that 70% will be much larger than an unknown artist. Nevertheless, for Happy to make just that 9-cent royalty from my single iTunes purchase, it has been estimated that the song would have to be streamed on Spotify 60 times. Now I know what you're thinking. Some of these artists make millions of dollars on their albums, so why is it so bad for me to listen to it for free? Well, let's ask Taylor Swift. So as pretty much everyone knows, Taylor Swift pulled all of her albums off of Spotify, as well as other free streaming services. This is what she had to say about streaming. She's not taking a stand against all internet music. She's not trying to revert the world back to CDs. She's simply saying, look, music is losing its value and we need to get it back. I still know what you're thinking. She's just doing this to make money, and in a way, that's completely true. By forcing listeners to pay for her music in some way, shape, or form, she's increasing her sales. But that's not the point. The point is that we're shifting the meaning of music in society. Think about that for a second. We've created a society that focuses on reward by exposure rather than by payment. Don't get me wrong, exposure is very important, but these artists need financial support in order to continue making their music. In this technocentric world, we train ourselves to believe that all content should be free just because we found one way, legal or not, to get it for free. But how can musicians continue to put out the content that people desire if its value has been diminished to almost nothing? Considering the facts I provided on Spotify, you might be surprised to hear me say that Spotify could theoretically be a solution. With each new paying subscriber, artist revenue increases. In July of 2013, a global hit album would have made a monthly royalty of just $425,000. In Spotify's projections, if they could jump from 15 to 40 million subscribers, which is a bit of a jump, that same album would make a monthly royalty of $2.1 million. Look, the future is obviously a digital one. We're embracing that. This is rapid change. All of the history I've covered today has taken place within my class's lifetime. What we need to do is find the balance between having access to the music we want while still placing an actual value on the work of these artists. The truth is we don't have a complete solution yet, but it's out there. Until then, all I'm asking is that you find some way to support your musicians. So whether it's by buying a CD, buying a song on iTunes, or just upgrading to a premium Spotify account, put your money where your ears are. Thank you.